It's turned into a best of three as the Avalanche roll in Game 4 to a 4-0 shutout over the Stars to even the series heading back to Dallas. The Avs have found a new level. Can the Stars match it in Game 5?
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. The Dallas Stars lay an egg in Game 4 as the Avalanche shut out the Stars by a final score of 4-0 to even the series at 2 games apiece as the series switches back to Dallas for Game 5. And the Stars blew their chance in the first 10 minutes of the hockey game. I'll tell you how, and I'll tell you why it was important on today's episode of Locked On Stars, but no need to panic quite yet, Stars fans. So stick around. This will be a bright side episode of Locked On Stars for the most part, but we have to get into some of the nitty gritty and some of the negatives right away for the Stars. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, current account. Use code Locked On NHL for $20 off your first purchase. The first 10 minutes of this hockey game were so important. You knew you were going to get the best version of Colorado. They cannot afford to go down 3-1 again to Dallas after 4 games. They're not going to beat the Stars 3 straight times, or the task would be really difficult to do so. So it was so important that Dallas came out on their toes, and I thought they did a pretty decent job of that. They draw the first penalty as Mikko Rantanen goes right to the net, draws a high-sticking minor penalty on Logan O'Connor, and you're like, okay, the Stars can get on the board early, force Colorado to play from behind, and see where it goes from there. And then it all unraveled. Dallas fails to convert on the power play. That's okay. They continued to forecheck. They continued to play physical. It was a really fast-paced game, which does not dictate the Stars, and we'll get to that a bit later on as well. Colorado was just flying up and down the sheet tonight, but Dallas draws another penalty. They didn't really draw it. It was a bit of a gift as Devon Toews shot the puck over the glass. So it's a delay of game penalty. Boom. Dallas is to go right back to the power play after failing to convert on their first opportunity. And here you go. Another chance to get on the board early in Game 4. And then Harley turns over the puck. O'Connor beats Ottinger shorthanded. Colorado's up 1-0. They just could not afford that start, especially giving up a shorthanded goal. Special teams has been a huge factor in each of the first 3 games of this series. It shows up again here in Game 4. Colorado goes 1 for 1 on the power play. Dallas goes 0 for 4. Pretty similar to Game 3, where Dallas went 1 for 3 and Colorado was 0 for 6 on the man advantage. But it just put Dallas behind the 8 ball, and Colorado already came out with so much energy and so much spirit. The building was going berserk, and Dallas was unable to quiet ball arena, and it just snowballed the rest of the game for Colorado. Once O'Connor scored, it was just an onslaught on Jake Ottinger, and then they draw a power play. Boom, McKinnon scores. It's one Otter should have had. It's a really soft goal. He was in position. He should have made the save. The 3 goals for McKinnon on the power play, I think all 3 of them have come on the power play, have been so soft. So soft. I mean, come on. You got the deflection one. The other one just cleanly beat Ottinger. And this one, again, just sort of cleanly beats Ottinger. And then Otter was phenomenal the rest of the period. It was a shooting gallery for Colorado. They had so many tasty looks in the first period of this hockey game. And it was good that Dallas was only down by a couple of goals, but it was also embarrassing the Stars were down 2 heading into the second period. They should have no worse been down by 1. I was really disappointed with the poor opening frame in Colorado. They've seem pretty steady and stable in this series, and they just allowed everything to sort of unravel. And Colorado, credit to them. I want to give the Avs a lot of credit that they took it to Dallas tonight, that they made a statement, and that's a big time win for the Avalanche. And Dallas just seemed unable to match it, or was not prepared to play to that level. And the MacKinnon goal was just such a gut punch. And even after the first period, you're not feeling very good about the Stars' chances just based off what you saw from Colorado. Them getting that first goal shorthanded was all they needed to just ignite their game. And then the second period comes along. If Dallas is able to score first, get that next goal, you feel like maybe they can chip away and punch their way back in, but then Landeskog scores, and that was pretty much the dagger about halfway through the hockey game. And Dallas got outshot 22-5 in the second period. That's way too reminiscent of what we saw in the last month of the regular season. Colorado was all over Dallas. How many times the Stars just had to get to the red line and clear, or just high flips, get it out of the zone. Colorado was just pouring right back in to the attacking zone. Credit to they were all over Dallas. They were swarmed. Stars could not make plays. The best look I think the Stars had on the night was the Rantanen chance early in the hockey game that Blackwood stopped. I really can't recall a ton of good looks the Stars had in the game outside of the opening 10 minutes. It was just all Colorado, and Dallas was struggling to do anything on the attack. It was just a really, really disappointing night. The expected goals for Colorado at 5-on-5, 4.57, and Dallas was 1.24. Just a really, really terrible night. I'll say this too. It seems like Dallas and Otter, for the most part, lay an egg in one game in each series. That seems to be a trend. So I am still optimistic about the Stars moving forward. And at the end of the day, through 4 games, this feels about right. It's an even series. These two teams are so similar, or maybe not similar, but the two teams are just really close with one another. I think they're just really, really close. I still think the Stars have an edge to some degree, and I do want to touch on that towards the end of today's episode. But it feels right that it's a 2-2 series heading back to Dallas. It's a best of 3. The Stars have 2 games at home now. If they get to a game 7, and the potential of getting back your best player in Miro Heiskanen at some point. That's the kicker for the Stars. You have to feel really good. So I don't think it's time to panic, although Colorado did play to a new level in this one. But the caveat is it's still the MacKinnon and Makar show for the majority of what Colorado is able to do. And I'm not knocking others. O'Connor's been great. I've highlighted him a couple of times in this series. I love him. I think he's a great player, and he's had an enormous impact on the series. But really, it's MacKinnon, Makar driving the offense. And we talked with Sam on Friday, and he talked about how we haven't seen the MacKinnon show in the offensive zone. Well, we got it in game 4. And Dallas, look, they have history against the Avs, just dating back to last year. They have done a decent job of holding in check MacKinnon and Makar. It's really hard to do so for a full series. They're going to get their opportunities. They're world-class players. They always will. We saw it in game 1 for them. We've seen it now in game 4. They're going to have those games where they just take over because they are that good. They have that ability to do it. And Dallas had no answer tonight. But for the most part, they've shown they've been able to quell a lot of what they can do offensively. And if you're able to slow them down to some degree, the Avs are in my opinion, just not deep enough. They're just not deep enough to beat Dallas. But again, this is a power play that stalled and it derailed their momentum. That's happened too much in this series. It's happened for both teams. To be fair, both teams have had their struggles on the man advantage, and they were just outshot consistently 48-23. They were being outshot by 30 shots at one point in the game. And I also subscribe to the belief that once it's 3-0, like who cares what the score is after that? It's one game. It's one win. Colorado could have scored 8 goals on the night. They probably should have had 8. At the end of the day, it's one game and you just move on. That's a great thing about this time of year. It only means one win in the win column. Colorado has 2. Stars have 2. It's not pretty. Don't get me wrong. It still is a cause for concern if Dallas is able to revert back to it. But I also err on the side of Dallas seems to lay an egg in one game of each series. And I thought Dallas played one of their worst games. Hopefully it's their worst game of the series. Can they play that bad again? I sure hope not, because it won't be pretty if that's the case. I could go over some of the numbers, but it's all Colorado. It's just complete domination, possession, shots. I don't know how much good that does to lay out each and every number. It wasn't good. I think the hockey stat card pretty much sums it up. There's one star, it's Jake Ottinger, that is above 4 Avs, but out of the first 25 spots here, when it ranks the game scores, it's 24 of Colorado, and the one is Ottinger. And I thought Ottinger was not good in the game. I thought I thought he was pretty meh, and it wasn't all his fault either. Okay, being outshot 22-5 in the second period, and they ended up pulling him for DeSmith, which I thought was smart. Sam Nessler tweeted out after the game, just confirming the Stars pulled Jake Ottinger to rest him for Monday and to get Casey Smith dismissed some work. Pete DeBoer said it didn't make sense to leave Ottinger in with the way they were playing, and I think that was a good call. If Colorado comes out, they bury 3 on Ottinger. It's good for no one. It's not good for his confidence. It's not good for the Stars. It's not good for anybody. So I thought it was a smart move to do that. DeBoer says, obviously they were better than us tonight. It's all about your response in a playoff series like this, and hopefully they can match it in game 5. So let's talk about Colorado finding a new level and Dallas having to now respond, as DeBoer said, in game 5. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With 4K streaming, watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribe services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. It's endless entertainment. And for those of you that love gaming, it's a great option to start playing Xbox as well. The Fire TV Stick 4K can be a game changer. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV, locked on to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, and Fire TV Cube. So the Avs had a new found level in game 4, and one that I don't think we saw even in game 1. And some of that may have to do with being at home, season sort of on the line, and the desperate team theory may have taken effect. But when I still look at this series, and yes, I know McKinnon and Makar are the shiny toys, but they truly drive everything for Colorado. At the end of the day, I know Landeskog scored tonight. I know O'Connor did as well. And Brock Nelson had a great game, but I don't I don't see Nelson and others being the real game changers in this series now that it's down to a best of three. And maybe that's naive of me. I know they had good games, but at the end of the day, it's just 29 and 8. They make everything happen. And even in this hockey game, it just feels like the majority of chances you're seeing are from those two. And you can throw Natchez in there a bit too. Like it just feels like it's all them. And if you're able to slow them down a bit, you're going to be in good hand. And again, that's really hard to do. Makar's expected goals for 1.95. McKinnon 1.9. Natchez 1.81. There's a pretty big drop off from there. There really is a pretty big drop off. And Girard had a phenomenal game, probably the best game. I mean, he may play in the series. He was so damn good tonight. And that's why I still have this optimism. Like Dallas they feel deep. They feel really deep. And it doesn't mean Dallas is going to win the series, but you get somebody like Miro back, Dallas just feels almost too good. They almost feel too good. And if their power play still dries up and they're not able to score, it means nothing. Don't get me wrong. Look at the last few series where Dallas has been knocked out of the playoffs. Their offense goes dry, and being shut out is not good. And they didn't really come close to testing Blackwood a lot in this game. And we saw that in game 3 a bit too. I touched on it on the last episode or a couple episodes ago. Even though Dallas was controlling the game, they're still not testing Blackwood enough. They're not forcing him to be just lights out. And Blackwood has been great in this series. He's outplaying Ottinger right now, in my opinion. But Dallas still needs to test him more. And again, it's Makar McKinnon that just seems to drive a lot. And if they're able to keep them off the board, Dallas is going to be in good hands, because I haven't seen a lot out of Duran in this series. Haven't seen a lot out of Nelson for the most part. Haven't seen a lot out of Coyle. Right? A lot of their guys that kind of went out and got. I feel like Dallas has played pretty well. But on the flip side of things, Dallas needs Rantanen now to start finishing. Dallas needs Rope to show up. Dallas needs Johnston, okay? So let's not get it twisted either. Stars need some of their guys to play a lot better. Where are they? They need to play a lot better. Because I can sit here and say, on paper, Dallas looks better. On paper, last season, Dallas looked better than Edmonton. It really doesn't matter who's going to show up. So maybe the conversation needs to flip a bit more, not worrying about Colorado or what I don't think Colorado has. It's about what Dallas has and what they need to produce. And that's Johnston. He hasn't really had an impact on the series yet. Even Rope. And they're playing well, but we need them to score, right? That's what it comes down to. You need those guys to score, and Dallas isn't getting enough out of some of those guys. So it really is important. Look, Harley is leading the team with 3 points, right? Right? Like that's not great. Not great for Dallas sort of thing. And I guess that also kind of leads into, well, they haven't necessarily blown it up offensively or lit it up. So once they do start finding the back of the net, Stars going to be in good hands. But they have to do that. And they struggled to score tonight. They struggled to get any chances. Well, obviously they struggled to score. They didn't get the goose egg off the board. But again, I want to credit Colorado a lot. They were awesome tonight, and they were obviously the better team, and they deserve to win. So credit to them. I still think Dallas lays an egg in each series. Just seems to be the trend. It's frustrating as all get out, but I don't know if Dallas can play worse than that. And we'll see if Colorado can sustain that. And if Dallas can match it, I think the Stars should be in good hands. And I still think they may have an edge, especially if Miro comes back. It's a good situation right now for the Stars, in my opinion, to be tied. I know Dallas has won a couple overtime games. Again, Dallas could have been down 3-0. They really could have, or they could have been down 3-1 now if Lehkonen buries that overtime chance in Game 3, right? So I think both teams can feel lucky on in some degree. Dallas probably a bit more so that they're not trailing in this series, and I think that's a good spot going back to Dallas. And it looks like Miro is very, very close, and I think that's where Dallas has the edge, even without him. I think Dallas still has the ability to take it to Colorado. So we'll discuss that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Game Time. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and if you've never been to a live NHL playoff game, it's unlike anything else. The intensity, the speed, the energy in the building, it's next level. And thanks to Game Time, getting in the door is easier and more affordable than ever. Game Time is the fastest way to grab playoff tickets, even for those must-see matchups. Prices actually drop as puck drop gets closer, and with last-minute deals, you can save up to 60%. Last-minute deals, save it to 60% off buying last-minute sports. You got concerts, comedy, theater, not just the Stanley Cup playoffs, all in pricing. Shows a total up front, no surprise fees at checkout, panoramic seat views, so you know exactly what you're getting before you buy, and the Game Time ticket coverage knows you're protected. A 24-hour return guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKED, own NHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I do want to call out Mason Marchment a bit, because I didn't get to him in the first two segments, and I feel the need to bring it up too. He has to stop putting his team in no-win situation. He has to stop putting Dallas in he's putting his team in just too many pickles right now. And again, look, was it a soft call? Sure. Just stay away from McKinnon after the whistle. He's not going to get the benefit of the doubt. That's the player he is. I don't want him to not play to his game, because that's how he is. And sometimes you got to take the penalties with it, but he's crossing the line way too much in the series. And he's becoming a problem. And that's the issue. He's becoming a problem in the series. He's not becoming a pest. He's becoming a problem. And that's the line that he's stepping over. He has to stop taking dumb penalties, especially against Makar and them. I get it. Was it soft? Yes. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt. It's just how it is. That's how superstars are treated in this league. Probably not enough if we want to have that conversation. So he's got to stop it. He's a great player. We get that. Look at the play he made in overtime in Game 3. He's a great player. And look, yes, he's a good player, but he's got to stop doing that. It's just it's setting up his team for failure, and it came back to bite him tonight. So I did want to point that out, because it's just not good. It's just not good. Now the edge, and this sort of circles back to my point I made earlier. Going back to Dallas for Game 5, Stars are evened up in the series, and you may get your best player back. Like, that's a good spot to be in. It's a great spot to be in. It feels like this series is going 7 games. I was driving back tonight, driving home, and I don't see how this series ends any other way. It just feels like Dallas, Colorado may win one at home, maybe both away teams win, and we're going back to Dallas. I find it hard to believe it's not. These two teams are just so even, and Miro coming back, it feels like If it felt like he could have played tonight, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading the tea leaves wrong. Again, they're not giving us a ton, but he's skating, and I know the contact situation is still there. How much contact is he really dealing with? So who really knows? It felt like if they really needed him to play, let's say Dallas is down 2-1, or down to, I think he plays, right? I don't know. I'm just trying to read the tea leaves. But again, and I sort of mentioned this earlier, Dallas still feels a lot deeper, and they can have the edge, but they have to play up to their level. That is still the question mark. They need guys like Rope and Wyatt, right? And nobody had a good game tonight. I can't really point to somebody. I thought Bischel was okay. I thought he was a bit of a warrior. Like if I had to point out somebody, there's not a lot. There's not one guy I can point to, but oh yeah, he had an awesome game, just because Dallas was just so heavily outplayed in the contest. It just was ugly. So again, if Dallas plays up to the potential, even with the lineup they have, they can play with the Avs. Obviously, we've seen that in the series. But man, you get Miro back, and you have the opportunity to really take it to Colorado and do what the Avs did to Dallas tonight. I truly believe that. But of course, are some players going to play to that level? That's always a caveat. And as much as we maybe harp on it's McCullough and McKinnon that do it a lot, they show up more. They show up more often than not, right? They show up, and Dallas needs Johnstons of the world, the Ropes of the world to do that too. They have to show up and start becoming a factor in this series, because Colorado is getting a little depth scoring, right? O'Connor's been phenomenal. They're getting some depth scoring too. And, maybe I'm not giving Colorado enough credit. Maybe I'm being a bit disrespectful, because there's some dudes over there that are having some good series, or are having a good series. And it's been so close. Slim margins, right? It's like the special teams battle has sort of decided each of these games in a lot of ways. It's been so close. It's been a lot of fun. But Dallas can't play in a contest like they did tonight. They can't play in a game that was just a track meet. Colorado's flying around. It was fast. Dallas can't play that way. They're not going to be able to keep up with the Avs. Dallas needs to make it boring, right? And we've talked about that a bit. It has to be a lot more boring, because Colorado is too fast, and they're going to make Dallas's defense. They're going to make Dallas defense flounder if they allow them to play in transition, play quickly, and play that style of game. Dallas can't compete with Colorado in that. That's where Colorado has the edge. If they're able to swarm Dallas, keep the Stars on their heels, Colorado's going to bury Dallas like they did tonight. Can they do that again? We'll see. That will sort of be a question here in the next few games. Can they do this again? Can they replicate that? Because I felt like that was really the first game in the series where they've kind of had Dallas on the rope, so to speak. I know Dallas lost game 1 5-1, but didn't really feel that way. And I thought Dallas was probably a better team in games 2 and 3. So again, even series. It's been awesome. So it's now a best of 3. Game 5 does worry me. I think Dallas has had some awful game fives under Pete DeBoer, especially at home. They've laid some stinkers. So I am worried to some degree, because it's just a massive game. I'm sure the number's like 93% whoever wins game 5 in a 2-2 series. I'm sure it's some massive number. Maybe that's too big, but we'll certainly hear that, or maybe I'll find it for next episode before Game 5 on Monday. So obviously an important game, but hey, I think there's a lot of reason for optimism. If Miro's ready for Game 5, his return, I think is going to be awesome. It's going to be much needed for Dallas. He could really be the hero of this series. So hopefully that's the case. So we'll keep a very, very close eye on that in the next couple of days. But that will do it for your Game 4 reaction episode here on Locked On Stars. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you feeling optimistic? Was this one a gut puncher for you? Are you not as optimistic heading into Game 5 as you were before Game 4? I'm curious if the Stars have either gained some trust or lost it. It's going to be a roller coaster, and Monday will be no different. So we'll enjoy that. Have a great rest of your weekend, Stars fans, and we'll see you on the next episode of Locked On Stars. So long.